I'll try not to shake the desk so much tonight. Everything is just so not stable on this platform here. But hello, everyone. Welcome in. Oh my goodness. A lot of folks here already. What the f... Lurkers, listeners, now and later. I hope you're having a beautiful time zone wherever thou may art. I art full of a... Bean! That's weird. This already happened once, but I definitely will acknowledge it again. Happy subiversary. 1 year of Bean. And here's to many more Bean years together. You're the best. Thank y'all for being here. I got new headphones. An anonymous gifter on Throne got me these, and I just now realized I'm wearing them backwards. That's so much better. The lights won't work when they're plugged in. It's a whole thing and a long story, but they do light up, and I love them so much. So thank you, anonymous kind soul, for getting these for me. Off to like a pretty rocky start with the schedule this year, you know, and I've accepted that for what that is. And I streamed on Saturday and I played some Fortnite, got a dub on there. I think I've won at least a match the last 3 times I've streamed Fortnite, so you're welcome for that entertainment. But I'm here today because I don't want to overthink getting into the swing of things again. I just want to fucking do it and just have it done, you know? But yeah, it's been an interesting day or two. Tonight is kind of just going to be like a catharsis for me because, you know, all of this information already rattles around in my head all day long, and I am more than willing to engage in good faith with people. But there's been a whole lot of not that happening over the past couple of days. Just entirely too many bad faith actors and bad faith conversations and defending their fave and NPC ass comments that are copy paste. And that's annoying to say the least. But I'm gonna turn my mic up a little. Give me just a sec here, y'all. Turn it up a little. Thank you, Waba. Uh-oh, are we close to a hype train already? How's the volume now, y'all? Before I continue, let me know. Also, if I need to turn the music down a touch, I'm more than happy to do that. Oh shit, is it happening? I think it is. Y'all. Thank you. What, baby?
You probably just bring the mic in closer as well.
Bring the mic in closer, like onto my mouth?
Yeah, and then just like talk.
Okay. There. Okay. Hopefully that's a little better. I really don't want to blow it out. You know what I mean? Okay. So, I know all of my usual crew is here, so this is obviously, y'all are my priority always. I care about each and every one of you who have been here and who support me and support the community that we have and understand my work and understand why I do what I do. So I'm not talking about y'all. Okay? Because you know how I get. Right? And when I start saying y'all, I mean it more proverbially. I mean it more toward the bad faith actors who have been engaging with me over the past day or two. I don't mean y'all. Y'all are incredible. I mean the other y'all. I mean them. You know what I mean? But at any rate, y'all That's so descriptive and such a strong way to start this whole thing. Um, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There is no start. For those of you who aren't new here and who know me and know what I do and familiar with my work, you understand that I advocate for disability rights and disability justice and COVID awareness and pandemic awareness because we're still in it. It never left. It's not endemic. The vaccine does not neutralize the infection. 6 feet or 20 feet ain't gonna do shit. Need I continue? I need to have like little, 6 to 8 word blurps of information to just fastball at y'all motherfuckers who come at me with the 2020 shit. You know what I mean? And luckily, there's enough of you who are loudly uneducated and make it my problem that I get a lot of practice. I get a lot of practice in condensing the information to make it fast and easy to consume and absorb. Your ability or lack thereof to absorb the information is not my problem. I'm just doling the information out and sharing my opinion on shit on my page. So that's a given, right? Thank you. I'm not going to be looking at the chat much tonight because my brain is ping-ponging at turbo speed and it throws me off sometimes if my train of thought gets thrown off. But I watch these back and I read everything y'all say, so y'all are always popping off with some amazing shit, with some hilarious shit, and y'all are the reason I do this. The reason I stream is because y'all are here and y'all, I really value what we do here, and I want my quality of work and my frequency of which I appear on this channel to reflect that. I want it to reflect how much I care. So going forward, I need to let that be my focus instead of whatever else might be my focus. I just have to realign my priorities. But my priorities on COVID awareness, long COVID awareness, asymptomatic and pre-symptomatic spread awareness, CDC being bought and paid for partly by the government, partly by Delta Airlines, partly by corporations. Like, it's all a fuckery fuck show, right? We talk about it quite literally all the time. For those of you who are new here, watch any of my streams on YouTube and you'll understand more of where I'm coming from on branched extents of each of those things I just said, because each of them is an hour and a half talking time in and of itself. So I'm not going to cover every single thing. But I'm going to start with, it's been a couple of weeks now, several days at least. I mean, I don't know. Time's not fucking real, right? But Adele was seen wearing a respirator, not a mask, like a surgical mask. Like people think baggy, loose surgical mask when I say the word mask. I say mask because it's shorter than the word respirator. But she was wearing a respirator, a KN95 it looked like. And I remember several months back, she was like really avid on like not doing meet and greets and using hand sanitizer because she was concerned about COVID. But people were like, COVID's airborne, so hand sanitizer is not going to do shit to prevent raw dogging air to raw dogging air transmission, right? So eventually, I guess the word got to her, and she wore a respirator in her photo. In a photo, she's doing a residency in Vegas. And I saw that information, and there was like some discussion in the community about it for a minute. And I wrote out a tweet that I was going to tag her in, but I instead decided that I would rather make a video about it. And then I sat on the post, the draft, for a couple of days, and literally 2 days after I typed this, she canceled a month of shows because she's been sick with something and she can't shake it. So when I saw that, I think she has a residency at Caesar's Palace, I think. They spent nearly $500,000 to keep her voice safe by way of investing in clean air filtration and ventilation. And that's phenomenal. Like, that's a phenomenal start. That's one way, one layered mitigation of many, right? Because the Swiss cheese model, look it up as we talk about it to get a quick overview of the Swiss cheese model. But layered mitigation is our best bet at this shit, right? Is truly our best bet at living with it, not ignoring it, not sweeping it under the rug, and then scratching your head when you get sick 4 times a year now instead of 1 time every 2 years. You know what I mean? This stuff isn't instantaneous for everyone. Like the results of the damage of getting infected with COVID over and over again. For some people, it's immediate, obviously, because over 1 million of them are dead in the US from it. But I wrote this to Adele to ask her to consider not just her health, but also the health of her fans. Because if there's one thing I want you to take away from this stream tonight, me hanging out with y'all and talking about all this shit, it's that this is not the fault of any one person. And one person is not solely responsible for this. And the Quickleys are inflamed at me about it. You know, the fan base of Taylor Swift. I'm going to limit the amount of times I say her name because I don't want any of them sniffing me out. I'm already tired of them. I'm tired of their copy paste, seasonless, logicless, pointless interactions with me. Because that's exactly what they are, right? I truly don't have it in me to expend the emotional labor that it would take to try and educate hundreds of people. The average age, I would guess, because I've had to go and manually block hundreds of them at this point, and those who are brave enough to actually show their fucking face online instead of hiding behind pictures of Taylor fucking Swift, they literally look like underage children. So, immediate block, immediate don't engage, do your fucking homework, leave me the fuck alone. You're a kid, right? Like, if you're on this video right now, you're breaking the rules, bitch, because I have an 18 and over only on my page for multiple reasons, none of which are your business. Good night, Timmy. But anyway, artists, this conversation opens up so many simultaneous cans of worms. And I only have one mouth, right? I can only say this shit so fast. So, artists have been hosting super spreaders since everyone did the Vax and Relax method in 2021. Because a lot of people, myself included for a short time until I realized that that was not the case, thought that the vaccine neutralized COVID. Such is not the case. The vaccine is not a magical Balto-esque fix-all Aurora Borealis shit, right? I don't, if there's one piece of information about COVID that I wish I could just like blare to the masses, it would be like, don't hinge your entire immune system on a vaccine that's not a neutralizing vaccine, because we're simply not there yet. It's been less than 5 calendar years and y'all are playing fast and fucking loose. You have no idea. And here's the thing. If it was just you and your choices affected no one else, who the fuck am I to say anything, right? But those of us with a lick of sense know that shared air is shared, right? So no one gives a fuck anymore, and no one's taking anything seriously and yet getting sick all the time. Even doctors and nurses and people like me who are high risk and immunocompromised cannot safely access healthcare right now. I've had plenty of problems during this pandemic with my stomach, a lot of gastrointestinal issues that I think is more than IBS, more along the lines of IBDD, if not worse. And I can't get fucking seen for it because I'm not safe to do so. Because why would I risk becoming sicker, right? So every single artist that has had a show and not done a single thing to protect their fans is complicit in this. And yes, that includes every single one of your faves, including my fucking faves. Taylor Swift is not one of my faves. Never has been, and I don't anticipate ever being. And that's just the way that it is. Get over it. I've had so many people try to convert me today. It's disgusting. I'm not interested. Right? But back to Adele. Because I want to read y'all what I wrote to her. Or what I was going to say to her. And ended up not doing it, not needing to, because she canceled her fucking shows. A month's worth of shows. And I will say this. Adele and Taylor Swift are a year apart in age, right? And it is staggering to witness how differently we treat them in the media. Adele is a grown-ass woman. You know what I mean? All capital, camel case, grown-ass woman. TM symbol, right? She's experienced love and loss and marriage and divorce and has a child and just has a different life path that she had taken, and more importantly, she is a powerhouse vocalist. The talent is immeasurable. And years back, she was going so hard and so fast that she actually developed polyps on her vocal folds and had to get them removed. Also, side fucking bar, right? Pin in a pin in a pin. That's very much the vibe around these parts. So you should know what you're getting into by witnessing this stream tonight. I say vocal folds because I took vocal pedagogy in college, because I have a degree in vocal performance, opera specifically. So get off of my shaft. I don't say chords. I say folds. Who the fuck cares? People have been on my penis about that as well. Anyway, here's what I was going to say to Adele. My queen Adele, because truly, she is. I've loved her ever since she blew up. I sang her music all the time in college. So many of her songs are my go-to karaoke songs. Like, her music means a hell of a lot to me. So, I mean that. She is my queen. Like, I appreciate everything she does. Almost everything, right? Please pardon my direct tone. It's due to being dismissed, threatened, and laughed at for taking COVID seriously all this time out of necessity. This tone is not directed at you, and I see and applaud everything you've been doing to take COVID seriously for yourself at your events. However, please hear me out when I say I'd love for you to take COVID seriously for your fans, too. I'm immunocompromised. I've had to severely limit my time in public due to most of the world no longer masking since 2021, due to initially misclassifying the early vax as neutralizing. Still are. So many of you are operating with March 2020 information. It's sad, tragic, pathetic, and a waste of my time. Inform yourself and then come correct. It's that simple. Everyone has been doing the vax once and relax forever method when it comes to COVID, but that's not how it works. COVID is a biosafety level 3 pathogen in the same category as West Nile virus and tuberculosis. I did not retrieve that from my rectum, people. We use the same internet. Look it up. Literally. People get so mad at me for saying this shit. People get so mad at me for talking about this, and I think that that's hilarious. I am so sorry that this information makes you feel bad inside. Bitch, me too. Me the fuck too. You've been living it up like it's 2019 since 2021. And have abandoned disabled people entirely. In the case of some of you, have looked me in the face, so to speak, in my comment section. And told me I deserve to die. Shit. Told me to stay home forever. Told me to die scared. Like, I need y'all to realize something. Americans are selfish as fuck. So are Canadians. Canada is essentially the U.S.'s little brother that went to community college. And white people in fucking general, right? We're the worst. Can confirm. So we can't wrap our minds, especially in this hyper-consumerist end stage capitalist country of ours, we can't fathom what it's like to give a fuck about the person next to us. Asian countries have been masking up during sick surges and illnesses for fucking years. They just do it. They don't whine and gripe about their freedoms. They don't point the fingers and project their insecurities and accuse people of virtue signaling. They just fucking do it because they can fathom the concept of community, right? Because it's not a hard concept to fathom. Americans, on the other hand, in my experience being in America, unfortunately and tragically, are another case entirely, right? Living with COVID means adapting to the reality of its existence and acting accordingly to keep yourself safe and to keep other people safe because your actions affect others. The options shouldn't be ignore it and roam wild and free and leave an entire millions of groups of people, the group is growing by the minute, to rot and to die and to not be able to seek free healthcare. Not free healthcare. Jesus Christ, wouldn't that be a dream? Seek safe healthcare. You can't fathom the option in which you do your part. It's always, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want. You are responsible for your health when I choose to breathe infection on you. Y'all can't fathom that shared air is shared. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, y'all. Also, COVID doesn't come equipped with rulers or measuring tape. COVID doesn't give a fuck if it's 6 feet or if it's 20 feet. COVID lingers in the air like smoke. Do these big venues allow smoking at their events, even if it's outdoors? This is not a rhetorical question. Do y'all know? Do y'all know more about this stuff than I do as far as what they will allow at these places and what they won't? Like the Singapore National Stadium, is smoking allowed there? I'm going to guess hell fucking no. I need y'all to get through your heads that these people do not care about you. They care about your money and the validation that you give them. And if their net worth has a B in it, there's no way they got that without exploiting other people, and get that wrapped around your fucking head too. Okay. Let's see. BSL-3 pathogen in the same category, yes. COVID damages far more than the respiratory system. Every system in the body has a chance to become severely affected with each infection. Each infection comes with a 25% chance of becoming disabled or chronically ill with long COVID. Something I myself am recently coming to terms with potentially having. I'm a singer, and I lost my voice for a portion of last year. I thankfully got it back, but it came with newly acquired asthma, and my voice just hasn't been the same since. I've talked about it at length. Y'all already know the deal. I'm glad to have what I have, because it used to be awful. I barely had an octave. But now I'm back, at least to my range, but my breath capacity still isn't there. And bitch, I don't know if that's ever coming back. And that's hard to fucking come to terms with. And that's me being cautious and aware and wearing respirators in public and not fucking going to super spreaders. And I still, you know, we've been letting COVID rip for 4+ years without knowing the long-term effects. By the time we start to realize just how seriously we fucked up by letting this virus rip through our entire population and years of school-aged children, it'll be far too late for hundreds of millions, if not billions of us. I've been an avid fan of your music for over a decade. I studied classical music in college and performed your songs as often as I could get away with. I greatly appreciate your work through the years, and again, thank you for taking COVID seriously for yourself. Again, I wanted her to know that I'm not boo-booing on the efforts that she's taking and the venue is taking. I'm simply wanting to open people's minds to taking it a step further and taking care of their fans and being responsible with the space, making it safe for everyone, providing a size-specific, good quality respirator with the price of admission. You know? Shit like that. It's all so simple, and yet I'm humbly asking you to consider including a size-specific K95 or N95 respirator with price of admission to your shows. Making sure the air is safe for everyone should be the main priority. You're a living icon with a gravitational pull akin to the moon. You could set a precedent that causes a ripple effect in the entertainment industry and beyond. You could help get this shit under control. Please consider taking this step to ensure the safety of your fans who are risking their health to attend your performances, and consider the ripple effect this could cause. If by some miracle you see this, I greatly appreciate your time, yada yada, right? So when 2 days later Adele canceled a month of her shows because she was in fact ill, I was entirely unsurprised, and I was really sad for her because it's clear that she gives a shit enough to at least try not to get ill. If she has to contractually perform, you know what I mean? Her place of work spending $500,000 to ensure that you're safe. That's no small feat. That's no small task. However, all of these artists are already wealthy. Period. They're set up for their lifetime and the lifetime of everybody around them, right? And I want people like Adele who want to take it seriously to hear people out when they tell them to just take it that step further, because it's just really difficult to watch someone who you're like emotionally attached to, like, or you love their music, be irresponsible and put their fans at risk. And I'm talking about people like Beyonce, right? I've been a Beyonce fan since the fucking 90s. But like I said in the video, and like I'll talk about more, as we continue to discuss this whole thing, this whole idea of celebrity and why it is and why it shouldn't be and all that shit. But like grappling with the negative effect and the negative impacts and the negative actions that these people take, and the lack of action, and to me, it almost seems like in some cases they're taking their stardom for granted. Like, I'm thinking also of Selena Gomez, who has literally 500 million fucking Instagram followers. That is a number that I cannot wrap my feeble mind around. 500 million people. And after October 7th happened, she was quiet for a while, and then she came out with some horse shit about, I don't think a single post is going to change the world. So this is really stressing me out. So could y'all please stop badgering me? I mean, I'm fucking paraphrasing and subtexting, obviously, and being a little petty there. But the point remains that it could be any number of reasons why these people don't use their platform for good. It can be selfishness. It can be fear. It can be contractually obligated to be quiet. It could be a mixture of all those things. It could be ambivalence. It could be that they're shitty fucking people. It could be a mixture of any of those things. And all of that needs to be taken into consideration when we have these conversations. Taylor Swift is not the cause of this massive problem. I never once insinuated that that was the case, because it's not. Me pointing out someone's complicity in perpetuating a problem is not me attacking someone. She does not know I exist, and she never will. And I'm okay with that, because that's not why I did this. I didn't do this for clout. I didn't do this for views. I didn't do this for entertainment. I didn't do this to make anyone mad. I didn't do this to rage bait. I didn't do this to make anybody side with me. Bitch, this is the first video I have ever made like this. I think this is the first time I've ever talked about Taylor Swift with my face mouth on the internet. I'm sure I've made tweets and posts about her on Facebook years and years back, you know what I mean? But like, that's not why I'm here. That's not why I'm doing this. The whole thing that started all of this, well, there is no one thing that started all of this. But a couple of days ago, this clip was going around of Taylor singing a fucking song in Singapore at a concert. And in this like 55-second clip, she coughs 5 times. Now, is she sick? Did she have a frog in her throat? Is she burning up? Is she having trouble breathing? I don't know. I don't know the answer to any of that. But what I did know is that this video and her open mouth coughing, by the way, I should add, that everyone's fucking looking over. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. If you're giving up a utility bill to go watch a billionaire perform and she hacks up a lung for half a song, you're not getting your money's worth, bestie. You might as well have just lit a fucking match to it, to be honest with you. Sorry, that's just the pettiness coming up from watching people defend mediocrity all day long. It baffles me. But anyway, back to it. This video and her doing that, for whatever reason the cough was, is emblematic of the larger problems at hand. The fact that if she was not there, neither would be 55,000 people in that one spot, right? She's hosting a super spreader. She was just at the Super Bowl where people traveled from around the world to come breathe COVID on each other. Measles is popping up everywhere because people like Jenny McCarthy pushed the anti-vax movement in the 2010s and fucked it up for everybody, right? Because people would rather have a dead kid than an autistic kid. Bitch, vaccines do not cause autism. Autism causes vaccines. Get into it. But anyway. Your fave is not only spreading illness with reckless abandon, but hosting super spreaders for wherever she's at, those people to do the same. And then they go home and give it to their people, their coworkers, their family, their immunocompromised loved ones, strangers at the grocery store, people at school, right? Because no one's paying fucking attention. And it's infuriating that the shit that I've been saying about COVID a year ago is now coming to pass. And I guarantee you that in a year and a half's time, I'm going to be looking back on this moment in time. And I'm going to say, do you remember when I got flamed by an entire community? An entire toxic fandom because I said this thing that is now known as the fucking truth? I got a lot of, oh, you must be fun to be around. You must be fun at parties. Was I talking about something fun in the video? Was the topic at hand happy-go-lucky? It's just frustrating that I'm expected to educate these people when they aren't interested in meeting me halfway or meeting me at all. They just want to walk up to my porch, take a shit on it, and leave. And I'm tasked with cleaning it up and doing away with it. And those of you who know me already know that I am big on returning the energy to sender at the angle at which I received it. You know? So I didn't expect the video that I made talking about celebrity and how a lot of our faves are not good people, and a lot of my faves throughout my life ended up not a lot, like a handful ended up being really bad fucking people. And I made that video because it's a vulnerable thing for me to talk about. It's a vulnerable thing for me to come to terms with, and how much I emotionally put into these artists. Like, these people don't realize that that's not a personal failing on anyone's part. I'm, unlike you, willing to have the difficult conversations. Y'all are making fan edits of Taylor Swift making out with a sweaty guy in a football jersey. We are not the same. You know? Couldn't be me either, baby. Couldn't be me either. But I got a lot of something that was like interesting to me. I got a lot of these people saying that since they were talking about Taylor, but I can venture to guess that this is true for most artists with a big, humongous, freakishly large fan following, that if they were to cancel a show for any reason, they would get reamed by their fans. They would get hate flung at them, which is something that I didn't consider prior to making that video. And a lot of these people were letting me know that, as if that makes it okay. Do you hear yourself?
You know, we would have to send hate mail to her, right?
Yeah, like, well, if she were to, you know, get sick for some mysterious unknown reason and cancel a show, that's not more important than my need to consume her live for whatever reason. Because that's a somehow better experience than anything that could be doctored onto the radio. The call is coming from inside the house, people. How are you a fan of someone? How is that fandom? Pressuring someone to work through illness for your benefit. How is that care? How is that love? How is that anything but fucking gross selfishness? Call it what it is. Because y'all have shown me nothing different. Yeah, I got a lot of comments from people who were like, I would be honored if she coughed on me. I would be honored to catch it from a show. That's super cool, fun, and fresh for you. Again, you don't realize that your actions affect others. You know? Is there some kitty drama going on? Oh, he's fine.
It's Kitty Conflama.
Kitty Conflama.
Come on over here, stink fuck.
There's a Mr. sighting.
In the Mr. Boy.
He's a Mr. Boy. He's a Mr. Boy. And for those of you who are new, this is my lovely partner, PJ, a.k.a. Pidge, a.k.a. Vibing with Azariah.
I'm the guy with the sword in the chat.
Him sweet. And so is Mista. It is.
And merch.
And merch, of course, yes. Potatum.com with the number 8 for fellow asthmatic hotties. Pidge isn't asthmatic, I am. He's just cold.
I love the sweater.
He loves the sweater.
I came up with the pun.
He did come up with the pun. I came up with the design. Potatum.com number 8. So when I called out that that's harmful behavior to pressure your favorite pop star into performing through illness, they moved the goalposts like these people tend to do. And then it all of a sudden became, well, no one's pressuring anyone to go to concerts. There is no logic in that whatsoever. I am so sorry that you are so entrenched in whatever parasocial, emotional, enmeshed, fucked up relationship you have with this pop star that you don't realize that your actions affect other fucking people. And I'm not too teehee, I hope people like me, to fucking tell y'all that. It's not your fault that you don't know that. But from here forward, it's your responsibility to act accordingly with this information. Just because you don't like the information that I'm saying doesn't mean that it's not true. I don't pull shit out of my ass. And during times when I inevitably do fuck up, I inevitably do say something wrong, I make amends and I correct it and I move on. That's not what this is. I'm simultaneously surprised and not by the pushback that I'm getting on this. The touch grass of it all. This isn't going how you thought it would of it all. First and fucking foremost, I've been getting death threats on the internet since before some of y'all were born. And that's not hyperbole, okay? Respect your elders and have a seat, first of all. Second of all, don't assume that the extent of someone's knowledge or information or expertise or opinion or stance or viewpoint is limited to whatever small window of time you observed them on the internet. Then I got hit with the chronically onlineness of it all. Has it ever occurred to you that a lot of disabled people spend a lot of time online because public spaces are not safe for us because of people like you? How is this? I take for granted what people don't know about shit because they've had the perceived privilege to not have to pay attention until it affects them. I don't know how to tell y'all this either, but it shouldn't have to happen to you before it matters. But y'all won't even quit drinking Starbucks. So it's like talking to a brick motherfucking wall. Anyway, I want to take a quick BRB and stretch my limbs and gather my thoughts a little bit more. So stretch them, drink them, smoke them if you got them. BRB. Hello. Welcome back, folks. I'm shedding. What else is new?
Are you shedding and farting?
I'm shedding and fording. Oh, man. I also today got quote tweeted by a senior writer at Rolling Stone who clearly has nothing to do. It's a white guy named Brian, because isn't it always? You know, completely denying reality and putting the, again, labor onus on me to educate him. Right? And fuck that guy. He interviewed Taylor Swift at her mom's Nashville house 4 years ago and sucked her ass for 3 hours and has been chasing the high ever since. Not my problem, bro. This isn't even about her. Again, so many of you are completely unwilling to recognize and acknowledge the larger conversation at hand here. And to prove my point, I want to move away from talking about Taylor Swift because I'm sick of her fucking name. I'm sick of her fucking face. I'm sick of all of her fans. Not all of them. If you listen to her music and aren't a piece of shit, then you're cool, right? But if you're coming at me like, oh my God, you could never sing a 3-note song. Okay. All right. We won't go there. But anyway, I want to talk about one of my faves that I really grapple with for a lot of reasons today. Beyonce. Because Renaissance came out in summer 2022, I believe, like July or something like that. And that album oh my God, it's a no skip for me. It's seamless the way it flows into itself and everything's produced so well. And it's just like, my least favorite song happens to be the first single off of it, Break My Soul, which, obviously that single and stuff that has aged poorly for reasons that we'll get into. But I played the shit out of that album, right? Loved it. And I also like to visualize how she would choreograph a number, or like what a music video would look like when I'm listening to the music. I like to try to visualize what she would visualize, right? Just as a fan, I've always done that until I see it, you know what I mean? I love that shit. And then of course she did the Renaissance tour last year, and I talk about this all the time, but it bears repeating. The cognitive dissonance that it requires to exist on this planet. Speaking from my experience as an immunocompromised person living in an ongoing pandemic that no one fucking cares about and everyone wonders why everyone's sick all the time. The cognitive dissonance that is required of me to not completely spiral. Seeing people just not care. Seeing people be so fucking reckless and so fucking clueless, willingly or not. It's a lot to take in day after day. And that's the reality for literally millions of us. It's a reality that, as bad as it sucks to hear about, sucks even more to live it. And people don't like when you talk about it. Those people can suck my shaft expeditiously. Because your discomfort is not my problem. It's not going to stop me from describing my reality and describing the reality of SARS-CoV-2. Right? But I was excited to see what Beyonce did visually on stage. I was excited to see how she brought her album to life. And all the costume changes and the choreography and the theatrics of it all. And it was so grandiose and so gorgeous and just striking and entrancing. And it was everything that the Beyonce fan in me wanted to see. But then I think about all the people and see all the posts from people who go to the tour and then come back with COVID and then have never been the same. And then I'm seeing posts now like it's been 9 months since I caught COVID here or there or every fucking where, and I haven't been able to do this since, and that's happening to more and more people. The cognitive dissonance that it requires for me to not spiral with this information and with the weight of the reality that's being put on the most marginalized group of people every single day is a lot to fucking deal with. Anybody who's a canary in the coal mine for something knows what I'm talking about. Any Cassandra out there who's a slut for a good pattern and gets dismissed and eye rolled and called crazy every time. And then it happens.
And then they blame you.
Well, they either blame you or they say nobody likes to know it all, or they don't even fucking acknowledge that you tried to tell them because they're too, I don't know, their ego gets in the way. Like, bitch, that's another thing entirely, right? These people can't fathom that I'm advocating for these things for reasons other than moral grandstanding or virtue signaling. And that's really telling on their part. Because why can't y'all fathom that I give a fuck about something? Why can't y'all fathom that I'm advocating for something because I'm also directly affected by it? You are too, by the way, girly pop, whether you know it or not. Sorry. I'm not doing it to be right, to be correct. I'm not doing it to make people feel bad. I'm not doing it for sympathy, for pity, for brownie points, for stickers, for cookies, for awards, for views, for likes, for follows, for comments, for shares, for subscriptions, for any of that shit. I'm doing this because I don't have a choice. I'm doing this because I have to live my life like this. My family has to live like this for each other. My family has adapted to reality. I speak about that lived reality. I advocate for people who share that lived reality with me. And it always pisses off the people who are ignoring it. Again, not my problem. Notmyproblem.com, baby. It's not. The fucking sequel. Part 2, the remix. That deserves a... I need to bedazzle this so bad. I don't know. Bedazzle or googly eyes, y'all. I haven't decided. I mean, me saying it out loud, I think I just did. It's got to be googly eyes. It's not even... Hello? Oh my god. So... It sucks that Beyonce is one of my favorite entertainers of all time, and she also is hosting super spreader events all across the fucking world. Of course, not right now, but I'm talking about the Renaissance tour, where she also just happened to make right under $500 million. No big deal. You know? No big deal. There's no heavenly or earthly way that she could have, you know, poured some of that money back into basic protections for her fans at these events. And here's another quick update if you're still working with... Ooh! Tomcat, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate you. Yes! Thank you. Train of thought has left the station. Not your fault, Tomcat. Don't worry about it.
Money back into...
Yeah, okay, thank you. Pouring money back into basic protections for fans. I feel like, well, someone said this the other day, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. And this is me in no way, shape, or form wishing that this would happen or wanting this to happen. I think that history rhymes, and we're being shown that it does. And I think that whoever said this is right. I don't remember where it was. It was either on Twitter or TikTok. But someone said that in order for people socially to start taking COVID seriously, because when I say history rhymes, I mean this pandemic rhymes with the HIV and AIDS crisis. And before you come for me and saying that I'm homophobic for making that reference, please. Literally, metaphorically, and esoterically miss me with that bullshit. Okay? I'm not saying this to be edgy or quirky. I'm saying this because SARS-CoV-2 attacks T cells in the exact same way as HIV. And attacks immune systems and creates immune deficiencies. You know, just like half of the acronym of AIDS. We all have the same internet. Please inform yourself, right? This is not me doing the labor for you past this moment right here. But, God damn it. My train of thought. Okay, putting money back into the thing. History rhymes. Yes. Okay. It's going to take something drastic. It's going to take a global superstar being drastically affected by COVID in a life-altering way in order for the narrative to start flipping more socially. Because politically, we already know the Overton window has shifted so far right in politics that there's no such thing as left anymore, right? We already know Democrats are right of center, and they're moving closer and closer to the fucking cliff every day as we speak, right? Talk about that shit all the time as well. But this thought keeps escaping me. It just does not want to hold on to the Velcro wall. Yeah, I got it. God damn it. Get it out there. It's going to take something drastic like the person who said this used the reference of Freddie Mercury. Because until he died of AIDS in 1991, I think, that summer, yeah. People socially weren't really taking HIV and AIDS seriously. And it took that in order for action to take place. I don't want it to get to that point, obviously. Performers need to cancel when they're sick. Fans be damned. Go gripe somewhere else, you know? They're not down to their last $30, okay? I promise you they'll be fine if they cancel a show. Adele knows that because she's an actual singer. Adele doesn't toddler cough during her fucking show. One pettiness thought is seeping through. People told me, she couldn't interrupt her choreography to raise her hand to cover her cough or turn her head. To which I got my magnifying glass out and said, choreography where? I do more choreography singing a sold out one woman show to my 3 cats every day in my living room. Period. Okay, pettiness moment over. Yeah. I don't,
Pettiness that everyone can agree with.
Petty, whatever, yeah. I'm in my living room. Go fuck yourself. I say what I want, right? But I don't want it to get to that point where something drastic has to happen. That's why I've been talking about this stuff for such a long time. Right? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we watch Drag Race. We know what fucking choreo is.
Oh, man. There it is, and there it was. Holy shit, y'all. I'm going to continue to have these conversations where I feel vulnerable and feel regret about supporting shitty people and calling out people who I still support for doing shitty things. You know? I want 2024 to truly be the year where we re-examine how we view celebrity. Literally, bitch, I talked about this fucking 9 months ago in the NBC article about Colleen.
About like parasocial relationships.
Yes, it's faster if I just pull it up on my phone. Like literally. And I think it's already, I truly think it's already happening. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Colleen Ballinger, Miranda Sings, that whole YouTube scandal, child groomer, alleged shit that went down last summer. I got interviewed for NBC News about it because I tweeted about it, being a former fan and mutual on Twitter of hers for 10 years. You're pretty much caught up. But I said, a lot, actually. I gotta fucking find it. Okay, here we go. I was referring to Colleen Ballinger, like that whole situation. I hope this ordeal leads to a collective shift in how we view fandom, celebrity, and fame. If an entertainer gets called out for problematic behavior, in this case, Colleen Ballinger having physical evidence of grooming minors, sending underwear to fans, having boys put their hands down her pants at their shows, it's a whole fucking thing, right? I've got a whole video about it on YouTube. When they get called out for problematic behavior, breadcrumb non-apologies are no longer acceptable. It's also unacceptable to chastise outspoken victims whose lives have been impacted by the actions of a powerful person. How that person apologizes for those actions speaks volumes about their character. Forgiveness is powerful, but it should require true accountability. I refuse to be an emotionally invested fan of anyone who doesn't know how to take accountability for objectively hurtful actions. Now, all of that doesn't apply to necessarily what we're talking about at hand to the full extent, but maybe it does. I don't know why I'm beating around the bush. Of course it does. Because spreading a BSL-3 pathogen is objectively more harmful immediately so and severely so than inhaling cigarette smoke secondhand, perhaps. They're both fucking deadly, don't get me wrong, but people take cigarette smoke more seriously because they can physically smell it. That is, unless they've had too many COVID infections in which they can't smell anything anymore, and they wonder why, and yet they do nothing to protect themselves. It boggles the mind. It really does. But I don't want to grapple with this feeling alone of the cognitive dissonance that's required in order to live in a world where no one fucking cares about anything except for their next consumption fix of whatever it might be, right? Trying to remove your identity from that, trying to remove your identity from your job, from how you make money, from what you put out into the world. Like, I want to continue to have these conversations. We clearly need to. Not with the bad faith actor Quicklies, but people who actually want to engage and who don't know about COVID, but if they knew, they would act accordingly. Like, as we talked about at length, the individual is not solely to blame, and the government is not solely to blame. They're simultaneously to blame, right? Of course, our leaders have failed us and continue to do so. Because on March 1st, the first day of Long COVID Awareness Month and the Disability Day of Mourning, the CDC dropped all isolation guides for COVID, saying that only if you have a fever should you isolate for any reason, which is not based in science at all. It's just that people keep getting sick and missing work, and we can't have that. Same with school. It's not my fault for pointing that out. Another thing I'll say about the chronically online comment is that the internet is not a passing fad. This is not 1996. I'm disabled. I can't work in public because I'm at high risk for COVID, and I'm also disabled in other ways that prevent me from working. Not that that's any of your motherfucking business, but here we are. So my job is online. And, you know, as long as I have a pulse, I have to eat, which means I have to earn pennies, dollars somehow, which means I have to do so chronically. So yeah, bitch. I would argue that you are chronically online arguing with strangers. I don't understand y'all. I don't. But anyway, maybe if I had more spoons today, I would be able to put forth more emotional labor and take the time to actually meticulously educate everyone in a molecular fashion. But fuck that, because it's not my responsibility to do that. I do what I'm able to, what I'm capable of doing in the moment. But these people show up already asking too much from complete strangers without doing any of the legwork themselves and scrolling, using the search bar maybe, see what else I have to say about any of this content. Like, I don't understand why these people demand all the information in every recent post, as if an archive of posts don't exist with this information already. It's almost as if you can't fucking scroll and find it yourself, you know? So that's where my exasperation comes from today in all of this. It comes from people bursting into my living room basically and demanding shit from me. Because I don't like their favorite person on earth who doesn't know or care about them. I'm just not operating from that plane of reality or logic. You know what I mean? I hope that when y'all grow up and, you know, graduate high school and actually make it to adulthood, you'll fucking realize that, I don't know, maybe you won't. I don't know. I don't want to give y'all too much credit. I just want y'all to realize that these people don't care about you. Their actions are obvious. Their actions speak volumes. One other person who I'm grappling with more and more every day, being a fan of their work, that I originally had included in the video, but the clip got deleted because I had to redo a whole bunch of it, is RuPaul. Because I didn't start watching Drag Race until like my birthday, like the end of 2022, like Christmas 2022. And since then, we have watched every single season multiple times at this point, except for a couple of them we've only seen once. And like, it lives rent free in my head. Like, I totally immersed myself in the fandom and in the universe, and I've found so many of my new favorite entertainers. And even in the short time that I've been a fan of Drag Race, I've had to reassess who I'm a fan of and who I'm not, because it turns out that they've done shitty things. That information came to light after the fact, or I came to know about it after the fact, right? And I've had to act accordingly and grapple with that, and it's been hard, and it's hard to rewatch something knowing these things about these people, right? But I'm talking about Rue specifically. I'm not at all denying any of the good things, by the way, that any of these people have done for humanity. But we would all be remiss not to acknowledge the negative impacts that their actions have on the world as well. Right? Multiple realities can exist at once. Multiple things can be true at once. Yes, are we all on the same page? I thought we were on the same page with that. A lot of people I found out are not. But RuPaul, I'm not talking about anything that he's done for the legacy of drag, for the legacy of queer culture, for black culture. I will never, there's nothing I could say or do that would take away from anything that he's done. The paths that he's created. He's changed people's lives. Like, I'm not talking about any of that shit. I'm talking about the fracking, okay? I'm talking about the fact that he is making money off of the exploitation and complete annihilation of land, of wildlife areas, of forests, of earth. It's damaging the climate. It's just, fracking is just fucking horrible, right? Look it up, have a field day yourself. I don't have a presentation for you this evening, unfortunately. But also recently, he co-founded a book company called Alstora. Yes, Alstora. Where RuPaul, I watched a video, he described it as being like an all-inclusive book publisher or something like that. Being very inclusive of like queer artists and shit like that. I watched someone do a deep dive on this company. This is actually a book drop shipping company. And they also sell books by fucking libs of TikTok lady and all kinds of transphobic people. And it's just not a good look, not good information to know, hard to unknow. You know what I mean? So like, I wish I had included RuPaul in that video, but I would have gotten dragged by the Drag Race fandom that I myself am a part of. And bitch, they can be just as toxic in the deep depths of it all. And I'm not trying to get fucking reamed and creamed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover with the Nikki fans. A lot of bars.
Yeah, a lot of crossover with a lot of people who I don't care to have smoke with because I'm not interested, because that's not why I'm doing any of this. But yeah, I'm being open and vulnerable about grappling with liking people, you know, for their art, but not being able to come to terms with who they are as people. And what is that line for me? Where does that become a problem? When do I stop listening to that person's music or consuming that person's media? You know what I mean? And it's a lot to process, and I'm still going through a lot of it actively, and I'm going to continue to have this conversation as it unfolds. So yeah. The bigger conversation to be had from all of this is that no one's paying attention to COVID. And they should be. If you care about your health, or if you're finally fed the fuck up with getting sick all the time, please wear a good quality respirator in public. If if they're too expensive, or if you can't afford them for any reason, look up mask blocks near you, BLOCS. I also am looking to start some in my area as well. I'm looking into what that's going to entail and doing research and making sure that the masks that I wear and the masks that I recommend are not bullshit, fake, quick buck masks, you know. I myself wear KN95s, and they've done well for me. They have a great seal. I've never tested positive for COVID, but that obviously doesn't mean that I've never had it, as we obviously know, right? Well, those of us who read the data and pay attention to the data know. But I also just want to make it clear that none of this has deterred me, dissuaded me, discouraged me from doing anything that I'm doing. Because I'm not saying these things to be popular or to be correct. I'm saying these things because at the end of it all, above all else, I'm interested in learning the truth and sharing the truth. Right? And adapting to the truth means acknowledging the truth and acting accordingly to the truth, not sweeping it under the rug. I'm pretty bushed, so I think that's all I've got to say for tonight. I feel like that's definitely more than I owe a lot of the people who tried to engage with me, but I'm just saying shit that everybody's going to be saying in a year anyway. And that's not me being like, I'm such a fucking contrarian. It's because I know how I've watched it unfold in real time. I've already seen it happen before. It's going to happen again. It takes a long time for people to come around on their own denial and come to terms with reality. And it usually has to affect them first. And I'm talking about this so that it hopefully doesn't get to that point before some of y'all start to learn about this and pay attention and act accordingly. Right? COVID doesn't give a fuck what year it is. COVID doesn't give a fuck who your favorite artist is or who you voted for. Or about that vaccine you took in 2021 that's not a neutralizing vaccine. Please stay up to date on the information. Please. That's all I'm going to say for now. This is not a happy-go-lucky type vibe. So if you came here to tell me that I'm not fun at parties or whatever, keep it to your fucking self. You know what I mean? There are plenty of times that I come on here and we fucking rip it up and have a good time, right? 100%. And today was just a time where I needed to lay it down. So that is me doing that. So I thank y'all so much for watching, whether it's now or later. I'm going to have my this stream and then my last stream up on YouTube tomorrow. YouTube.com/potatum with the number 8. Follow me there. Follow me on all my socials, TikTok and Twitter. And yeah, on my next stream, I'll be talking about some more important shit. I have a lot of plans for this year that now that the dust is settling, I'm finally able to get into. I wanted to read that book to y'all White Rage by Carol Anderson. They actually sent me 2 copies, so I want to give one of those away to y'all. I was going to do that months ago, but, you know, a bunch of life happened and yada yada, you know the rest. But that's definitely coming down the pipeline. Definitely going to stream some more Fortnite because it's like my ultimate veg out game, and y'all are my good luck charms. I always win when I stream, at least lately. So yeah, I'll be back when I'm back. So lurkers, listeners, now and later, I hope you have a beautiful time zone wherever thou may art, and I'll see you next time, y'all. Bye.